After a quick trip up to some of the villages around the Bering Sea, it's time to leave Alaska. Fittingly, I'll be doing this on Alaska Airlines on the overnight flight to LAX. As ever, waiting for your plane from Anchorage means getting to look at a bunch of fun parked planes, and Alaska's lounge here is small but nice. This is a pretty short red-eye, about the same length as a West Coast to East Coast flight in the US. They never leave you feeling great because they're just too short for getting much sleep. But this one offered a very decent fare for first class, so I decided to go for it and sneak in a little plane spotting at LAX in the morning as a bonus. Here's Delta's Atlanta service departing. That's probably a better length of flight if you're hoping to get some rest. Of course, another drawback of short red-eye flights is that they often take place entirely in darkness, so there's less to see out the window. But at least this Alaska Airlines 737-900 has some very blue lighting to make things a little more interesting to look at. What do we think of blue mood lighting? Wouldn't it be nicer with some warmer colors, maybe? Either way, I'll gladly take this over the garish yellow lighting that was once the norm. Let me know what you think. Alaska Airlines first class cabins can vary between older and newer versions, but I like both a lot. The seats offer enough room, they're comfortable to sit in, and everything feels fresh while also feeling timeless. Notice that this one still has the carpeted bulkheads, a personal favorite of mine that's unfortunately on the way out. Alright, let's take off. Service tonight includes drinks and a basket of snacks to choose from. I'm liking the polar tonic water, and the snack choice seems decent enough. No meal on this one, and that may be a big downside for some, but given the late departure just before midnight and the short flight time, I didn't really want to eat much anyway. The new breed of tiny Boeing sinks in the lab again. Aside from being impractical, they're quite ugly, I think. But what can you do? Wi-Fi will cost you $8 on Alaska Airlines now, whatever the length of flight, and that seems like a fine deal to me, even if you only use it to track yourself on Flight Radar 24. And otherwise, an uneventful flight. I pass out for a couple of hours, and before I know it, California's below us. And then we come in for a fairly uncommon landing toward the east at LAX. welcome to Los Angeles. I think this was my first Alaska Airlines flight ever where the flight attendant was a little on the unfriendly side. It was a subtle difference, but I noticed it, especially because I always find Alaska cabin crew to be in surprisingly great moods. Maybe this was just an off day. Still, despite that and the lack of much service on this flight, I think Alaska remains my favorite US airline to fly. For me, they have the right mix of easygoing, friendly attitudes and a quality product. They feel like a smaller airline than they are.
Doors for
And as promised earlier on, here are some beautiful airplanes landing as seen from the park next to In-N-Out Burger, a place I always have to stop by when I'm here. In Los Angeles for Flight Radar 24, I'm Gabriel Lee.